Hello, welcome back to the Michael Sisco Show. I'm your host, Michael Sisco. If you're looking for yesterday's episode, well, it's been removed by YouTube. So, for medical misinformation. So, apparently, opposing a policy regarding, COVID-19. The COVID vaccine and a passport, therefore associated with it, is a violation of YouTube's terms of service, which I have appealed. I read the rules regarding the COVID vaccine, and frankly, I don't think that I actually broke the rules, even according to their own standards. So, but of course, they don't care. They don't care. But in the description, I do have a Odysee. I'm on Odysee now. This was kind of the impetus to get onto Odysee. I'm still figuring it out, but I don't think that the live streaming capability is up yet. I could be wrong, but it did sync with my YouTube, so every video that gets uploaded to YouTube will also be uploaded on Odysee. I don't yet have the deleted episode from yesterday. I didn't have time, but I will be uploading that to Odysee. So please go follow me on Odysee, because you know how this goes. One warning from YouTube turns into a couple of strikes, and then it turns into your account gone. And so let's prepare for that. So go ahead, follow me on Odysee. I'm also live streaming on Bitwave, which is also in the description. Still on Trovo, although I want to move away from Trovo because they are practicing censorship as well. So, but eventually I think it would be cool to be just on Odysee, because it's built on some blockchain technology, which is basically censorship free in and of itself. So, and there might be other options. I know Twitch might end up having a live streaming service, maybe even Gab at some point. We'll see. I can't upload everything everywhere. I just don't have the time. I did put it on my podcast, so if you are aware of the podcast, it's on every major podcasting platform. Normally, I only upload the Thursday, the episodes with guests, but I did go ahead and put yesterday's episode on the podcast. So if you missed it and you still want to hear the audio, you can go ahead and do that. Go listen to it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever you use for podcasts, it should be there. But don't forget, Garth T. Ogle is working on his sequel to The Bowl of Tears and Solace. But you can get this now. You want to read it before that comes out. It's on saintsedwardmedia.com under the shop tab. We're also going to be implementing some crypto options to pay. And also I'm accepting donations via crypto, BSV, and my BSV wallet, which is in the description. Using Simply Cash right now for that. So, and don't forget to sign up to go to the Trad Forum on June 12th. The link for that is also in the description. And if you don't want to send your money through Eventbrite, you can send it through you can send it through either AnyPay, which I don't think I posted the link, but you can just send it to the Simply Cash wallet with an email to me. That way we can get you on the list. So yeah, yesterday, I mean, it was kind of sucks. It's my first time I've ever had a video taken down. Yeah, I guess the beast really wants you to take the mark, and I'll leave it at that. And it just affirms to me that, this isn't some nuanced debate. There really isn't even. There isn't another side to the conversation, because if there were, well, we would be allowed to debate it, but we're not allowed to debate it. we're not even allowed to espouse it on these platforms. And so that just means that I hit on something yesterday, that I hit on some truth that they didn't like, and that frankly it just affirms everything that I said in my stream yesterday. If you didn't catch it, go listen to it on the podcast. So yeah, it is what it is. But today I kind of wanted to rehash something that came up on my stream with Father John Whiteford, where we were basically talking about Orthodox sexual ethics. And so I wanted to narrow that down to something that I've personally struggled with during my life, which is pornography. I was exposed to it at a very young age. I would say probably around 11 or 12. And it wasn't even internet, really. I know the big concern for most people is, how do we keep children from being exposed to this online? Well, for me, I was at my friend's house, and we stumbled into, and you know how kids, you crawl around nooks and crannies of the house. Well, we found the parents' stash, and pretty much that set me on a when you're exposed to it that early, you obviously, you can imagine that you're basically going to be addicted to it. And so I struggled with that into adulthood, and it took becoming Orthodox, seeking, I even sought therapy for it. But what I found most helpful was the church, basically the church and block porn blockers, basically, on the online. So, which we'll talk about how to, some of those tools that are available, because I think about 80% of men now struggle with pornography addictions, or have it. I don't think that many people identify as being addicted to it, but try and stop watching it. If you think you're not addicted to it, but you watch it, try and stop watching. See how long you can go without watching it. It's very pervasive. So I eventually did break free of it through the help of my priest. I used something called Covenant Eyes, which, I literally couldn't watch it on my device. But there's I should pull it up, but there's a good website called Your Brain on Porn. And I actually discovered this site before I was able to break away from it. And it basically talks about the effect that pornography has on your brain as a male. And so this is just separate from the spiritual harm and the spiritual implications. But you basically become completely, well, I guess that's not completely true, because as Father John pointed out, psychology basically is replacing the sacrament of confession and things that the church fathers have known for a very long time. But you do become chemically dependent on it. Every time you watch it, it releases dopamine or whatever other chemicals, and then you become dependent on viewing pornography or explicit photographs via pixels, basically to be happy, to feel good. And what this ends up doing is it causes depression, anxiety, and you develop a preference for pornographic images over real women. And if you're married, or this is not necessarily in an Orthodox context, but you end up preferring the pornographic images over actual intimacy, over real women. And this leads to, this wasn't the case for me, but it leads to other issues like erectile dysfunction, because you can only if you can only get up to pornography and you can't get going for the real thing, well, there's a problem there. And so you can imagine this causes problems in marriage. It destroys relationships and family. A lot of women don't quite understand the addictive nature of it, and so they'll feel like once they discover that you have this, that you're viewing pornography, they feel, it feels like they're getting cheated on. It feels like they're going to be insecure, like, am I not good enough for this guy? Is that? And so it destroys your relationships. And Brandon here says it warps your ability to pair bond and discern a woman's heart, clouding your mind with lust. I would say that is true. So there are all sorts of reasons outside of just the mere spiritual implications here that cause problems. And don't forget, guys, to support me on Entropy, because who knows how long I'll be on YouTube now that I've gotten my first warning and my first video removed. But yeah, and in addition to all of the psychological and physical effect on you, and I think it even really has a demasculizing effect, because when your preference is pictures and videos and pixels over real women, that's pretty demasculizing. And it's kind of a form of cuckoldry, honestly. If you're taking pleasure in watching another man pleasure a woman, that's kind of twisted if you really think about it. You're not even taking pleasure in pleasuring a woman. You're taking pleasure in what somebody else is doing to a woman. And there's like this cascading effect with the addiction. Like, normal porn doesn't do it for you anymore. It's kind of like it's exactly like drugs, and frankly, more addictive than drugs. So normal porn doesn't do it anymore. So you gotta up the ante a little bit. You have to, normal one-on-one sex, that's not good enough. So you escalate to maybe group sex or these other crazy categories. And it destroys your expectations with real women and the real thing. And it just warps your view of reality when it comes to sexual relations. And just, this will get you into, it really gets you, it just twists you. But another thing to consider, if you really don't care about that, is it fuels the market for human trafficking. I think I read a statistic somewhere, I don't have it cited, but when I was doing research on human trafficking for an episode that I did with Bronwyn, actually, she said 70% of women in porn are either being trafficked, raped, or coerced into it. And so, but I have seen other statistics with anywhere from 20 to 70%. But either way, obviously it creates a demand for sexual exploitation. But more often than not, what you're watching in porn is a woman who has been coerced or is literally being raped on screen. And it's very difficult to even to know whether what's really happening there. So of course it looks like they like it. Like that's normal. That's actually kind of part of the mental trauma that goes into a woman. When a woman is raped, is the physical stimulation still happens. So, but it's very, very traumatizing. So yeah, there's that. But of course, the obvious. It's very spiritually destructive, and my green screen's going crazy again. I'm just going to hang on. Let me see if I can fix that real quick. Usually when I fade it up to fix that, then it starts messing with me. But anyways, I think something like 80% of men struggle with this. and a rising number of women, which I saw one statistic that it's pushing 30%, over 30%, which is wild because most people think of it as just a male problem, but it's starting to become a female problem as well. And so what do we do? I just want to touch on how do you get out of this? Well, for one, start going. If you're Christian, I'd say go to church, go to confession. If you're not Christian, well, for what? I would say become Christian, but if that's not going to be a thing for you, go seek therapy. If you want to break, I guess, a sort of insufficient substitute, in my opinion, but if you're going to do it, go seek counseling. Cognitive therapy kind of takes the place of a priest. But I recommend going to church and going to confession. In addition to that, find an accountability partner besides your priest. So in addition to your priest, for me, that was my godfather. So anytime you mess up, you talk to him, and vice versa. Maybe you could do somebody else who struggles with the same thing, like a support network. And so even Father John mentioned this, don't stay silent about it. If you're having moments of temptation, reach out to your accountability partner, or go pray during these times. But another thing that is absolutely helpful is a porn blocker. It's something that will keep you from being able, without great inconvenience, like deleting the app or whatever, is to just stop your ability to watch it. Learn the triggers. You have to kind of learn your own triggers. So like, when am I more prone to temptation online? And then start working towards things to kind of disrupt that trigger, right? Or maybe whenever the trigger is happening, go pray. So these are things that you can kind of talk about with your confessor or spiritual father or your therapist. And some of the tools that are available out there, I know there's Covenant Eyes, which is what I used to use. I used that when I first started breaking out of this. And there's Pluck Eye, like Father John mentioned, and the rates are really, I was curious, so I looked at the prices. The prices are reasonable. And then there's an app called Detoxify, which is, I actually still have that one on my computer. So, and it's a good app. It uses a VPN. So, Doorman 360 says Libido Dominati, which is a good book. I recommend everyone read it, by Dr. E. Michael Jones. He basically takes you through the history of sexual liberation going back to the Enlightenment, and how it's used as a form of political control. Like Brandon says here, and Doorman says, yeah, spiritual control, population control, all that stuff. It really is, because when you're trying to separate sexual pleasure from consequences, you're separating sex from reproduction, and that is obviously contrary to the life-giving nature of sex. So, yeah, it's just not good it's not a positive thing for society. It is a public health crisis, in fact. So our birth rates are below 1.6 per woman. It's below replacement levels. Maybe it has a little something to do with, hey, I want to have sex, and I don't want consequences, or I want to be pleasured by. So there's birth control involved, or I want to just masturbate and watch porn and not reproduce, but still have still have that sexual satisfaction without an actual relationship, totally detached from a real relationship with a real person and a real woman. So even outside of the Orthodox context, it's kind of pathetic. Yeah, really. So it's not even real. It's not real. At least fornicating is like it's a interaction with, it's a real interaction that could be turned into, it's not ideal, it's not within the bounds that God has prescribed, but at least it could morph into something life-giving, and it could turn into a real committed marriage at some point. So, or at least provide blessings of life like children and help us repopulate. That's not to say you should do that. We should not be fornicating either. But ultimately, it's really the same self-control. It's if you lack the control to the self-control to watch porn, to not watch porn, if you lack control in that, well, you're obviously gonna not be able to control yourself when it comes to temptation with fornication and women too. So, but I have one thing that does bother me. I have heard comments from some women who are like, I'd never date a guy who has struggled with pornography. Hey, well, good luck. I mean, in this culture, it's like 80% of the population. We kind of have to, and this goes for the men too. When we're choosing spouses and whatnot, we have to be cognizant of the fact that nearly everyone in our society and in America has been untouched by this plague. Doorman 360 says fornication is considered a more serious sin than masturbation. Penances are harsher because the consequences are more devastating. I mean, I would agree. I wasn't trying to say that's not the case. I'm just saying, I was just trying to explain the difference outside of that context. But no, the reason fornication is more devastating is because, or considered more serious, is because you're involving another person in your sin. But even Father John did make he did say that, I mean, from a physical relationship outside of marriage between a male and a woman could turn into something different. So, I mean, I'm not trying to downplay the seriousness of fornication. So it is a serious sin. And if you do it, you should bring that to confession and repent. So, but I do think that it is not, it's not quite the same in the sense that pornography and addiction to masturbation and pornography is like an actual medical condition, and in that it's an addiction too. It's a physical addiction that's related to chemicals, and that's a little more of a. So while it may be less serious because it's only you, it's still, when it comes to your health, your mental health, and your just and even your, what's the right word? Your adjustment as a human being, your well adjustment. And in a certain sense, it's worse because it's more chronic. And because it's more chronic, it's a little worse. So each individual case is less serious, but it's a chronic condition. Does that make any sense? So yeah. And I've also heard, I've seen women freak out because they've seen the porn blockers I've seen like on Reddit and stuff, like, oh my gosh, my boyfriend has a porn blocker on his computer. Well, I would say, well, that's the guy you want to date, because chances are if he doesn't have the if he doesn't have, that's the guy that you want to date, because he's actually taken steps to break free of that sin and that addiction. And chances are, if a guy doesn't have it, well, he's probably still addicted to it. And that's because if you just look at the data, 80% of men are addicted to porn. So do you want the guy that's making an effort to and taking measures to break away from that addiction, or do you want to just, you know, many women have weaponized their body parts, especially for the OnlyFans type. So yeah, obviously they're not all getting coerced into this, and there are women. This is becoming a trend that is. Hang on, messing with my green screen again. Yeah, this is, and there's actually a lot of social pressure encouraging them to do it. So that's something as well. Dex says, God has blessed me and my wife. We lived together for a couple years before we got married and had my oldest son. Times were tough, but it all turned around when we got married over 25 years ago. Well, God bless you both. So, yeah. So, I mean, it's, and you shouldn't really, if you've struggled with fornication or pornography, don't get down on yourself. This is, I mean, you just got to understand, you know, we live we live in a society and a culture that is just plagued with this stuff, and with the advent of the internet and the accessibility of it, it's really a problem. So I mean, just take the steps that I suggested. Repent and talk to your priest and bring it to confession. Stop watching porn and get married and have babies. So hey, Johan Asselborn says, base friend of mine got his wife to stop wearing yoga pants out in public. I endorse. That's good. I mean, although as much I don't like them, but some women, it's like a lost cause. It's like just like they look at you like you're crazy. And I kind of understand in the gym, I get it. I understand around the house, I get it. Out in public, you know, it's really not. You shouldn't do it. But even some Orthodox Christian women, it's like they just don't get it. And so, you know, I don't know if it's like, I don't know. Maybe we should start publicly shaming them on the streets. Like, stop wearing yoga pants. But Doorman360 says they are programming women to pimp themselves out. We're going full Sodom and Gomorrah. Dex says he stopped watching porn then too. Glory to God. Lululemons don't belong anywhere. Just wear sweatpants, lady. Come on. Yeah, sweatpants is a good alternative, I suppose. For the I don't know how to end the I've had Stephanie Nicholas on talking about yoga pants, and you know, she wears skirts everywhere with the hair covering, so there's that. Yeah, John Pro says OnlyFans is destroying marriages. True. If your wife has OnlyFans, well, first of all, you should never let that happen. And that's basically, for like, to me, that's infidelity. So that's just cause, in my opinion. Look at me, nothing wants to work. Johan says thoughts made sweatpants slutty now too. They hike them up and twerk. Yeah. I mean, ultimately, we just need to change our culture. So right now, I just want to get us off of porn. The yoga pants fight is maybe let's for now. You know, there's stages to, you know, like I say, the target in front of you, right? The most imminent threat, take out, and then maybe after we, you know, ban pornography and all, and well, first ban it from our own lives first, right? Then we can take the steps to eventually maybe ban yoga pants, because, you know, but what we have to do is destroy the market for sexual exploitation, and that starts with us. So we have to, decrease the demand for that stuff and stop watching porn. If we all stopped watching porn, there'd be no market for porn. There'd be less market for sexual exploitation. But yeah. Yep. Yep. And so that's all I have for that. Don't forget to get your tickets for the trad forum if you haven't already. It is on in the description. You can get it on Eventbrite, or you can follow the instructions. You can send it to me to the Simply Cash wallet. That's also in the description there if you want to send it via crypto. Just send in a company email so I can get you on the list. So yeah. Let's get into some of the news for the day. And also, if you want to send a super chat at $10 or more, you can call into the show. I'm dropping the link here and an Entropy. So there's that link. But let's cover some of the news for the day. Maybe I shouldn't cover this, given that I was banned yesterday, but all I'm doing, I'm just covering the news. Just reading the news. I'm not even taking a position. I'm just reading the news. LA Times columnist admits this is from the National File. Vaccine passports will single out vaccine skeptics and break the resistance down. Bill Clinton appointee and Los Angeles Times legal affairs columnist Harry Littman admitted that vaccine passports are a good idea because they will single out and break down vaccine skeptics. This comes amid widespread concerns with reports that the Biden regime is influencing corporations to de facto force Americans to get the vaccine, the COVID-19 vaccine, by restricting access to travel, products, and services. Vaccine passports are a good idea. Among other things, it will single out the still large contingent of people who refuse vaccines, who will be foreclosed from doing a lot of things their peers can do, tweeted Littman. That should help break the resistance down. A recent poll by the Center for Infectious Disease Research and Policy that showed that a staggering 1 out of 4 Americans will reasonably refuse to take the experimental mRNA COVID vaccines. It appears that many Americans remain skeptical, despite the creepy corporate government campaigns currently urging them to get vaccinated. To the displeasure of many New Yorkers, Governor Andrew Cuomo has unveiled the Excelsior Pass, a vaccine passport the citizens of that state will need to get in order to engage in commerce, as National File reported. The New York Post reports that the vaccine passport will force New Yorkers to prove their vaccination status or recent history of a negative COVID test in order to gain entry to events and businesses, and was unveiled by Cuomo in a press release last week. According to the New York government, the vaccine passport will be available on smartphones or be printed and must be presented by New Yorkers to enter businesses and become part of New York's safe reopening. They add, businesses will scan your pass with a mobile device or tablet. I won't read the rest of this, but obviously this is coming. They're trying to push this on a national scale. Let's see, hang tight. But yesterday was some good news on this front. Let's check the chats real quick. Nothing so far. So Ron DeSantis says he will take executive action and forbid vaccine passports in Florida. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis says he will issue an executive order that will ban local governments and businesses from mandating vaccine passports. The announcement came Monday during a bill signing ceremony. We are not supporting or doing any vaccine passports in the state of Florida, DeSantis said. We always said we want to provide it for all, but mandate it for none. It's completely unacceptable for either the government or the private sector to impose upon you the requirement that you show proof of vaccine to just simply be able to participate in normal society, he said. Governor DeSantis worries about the privacy implications of such passports and says it's completely unnecessary anyway. I'm going to be taking some action in an executive function, an emergency function here shortly. We need the legislature to come in and just say this is not happening in Florida. So yeah, and obviously that's still a hot button issue in New York since that's basically happening there. But good on Governor DeSantis for, sticking up for that. I wonder if other governors will follow suit, or if that'll gain any steam. I'm still trying to get green screen is not cooperating today, guys. But yeah, so I can't even really expound on this. I don't even know if I'm allowed to because of what happened yesterday. But any time that something is that's kind of what I feel like. That's like all I really want to say. I mean, I can't even comment on this stuff. I might even get in trouble just for reading the articles. I don't know. But apparently I'm not allowed to oppose. So I'll just, I support anything that the progressive liberal democratic order and the establishment tells me that I have to do in order to remain in good standing to participate in commerce and go to concerts and drink my beer. And I endorse, and I love Governor Andrew Cuomo, and this is a very courageous step for him to take for New York to be able to open safely. And shame on Governor DeSantis for being unsafe. So what do you not care about? Do you not care about people's health, Governor DeSantis? Do you not care about that? I love Israel. I love Israel. We love their country. We love their country. I love the international banking class. I love them. I love international finance. I love the International Monetary Fund and the Federal Reserve. Love them too. What's up amid the ruins? Welcome to the show. And I love the establishment. And if the establishment wasn't there, they wouldn't be. They're the ones that protect us and keep us safe from mean people who might have nefarious intentions when it comes to running the government and for ruling our country with nefarious intentions. So we appreciate what the establishment has done to maintain peace and order in our country. So yeah, I just want to say that I love the establishment, and I love their country, and I love the international bankers, and I support globalism. We love globalism because globalism helps. It's for our own good. It's for our own good. We live in a global world with a global economy. That's all good, and nationalism is bad. Bad. Very bad. Evil. Yeah. Very bad. We defeated nationalism in World War II. Yeah. Heal the world. Heal the world. Yes. Heal the world. Heal the world. It's all about love. It's all about love. And, I believe anybody has the right to love whoever they want. We affirm and we believe these things here on Saints Edward Media. on the Michael Sisco show. You know, we oppose bigotry. We oppose all of these things, and we love YouTube. We love our overlords at YouTube. We will abide by the community guidelines, and yeah, and when these guidelines and when the virtues of the globalists and the woke corporate capitalist and when they conflict with my religious views and the views of the Orthodox Church, obviously, well, there really is no conflict. Obvious, yeah, I'm gonna choose love. I'm gonna choose love, guys. You choose love. And you should choose love too. Yeah. So choose love, guys. Don't forget it. Choose love. And also, this is very good news. This is great for the progressive movement. Big tech. Now, this is an opinion piece by a very mean Fox News guy. But big tech is using the government to accomplish their own self-interested goals through a new industry coalition rallied around progressive causes, says author and biotech entrepreneur Vivek Ramawansky. And then they call it the Chamber of Progress Coalition. Of course, he's taking the crony capitalist take, but noting that the largest tech companies in the world hired an ex-Google policy director to advance their objectives. I kind of wish I got a real article, not an opinion piece. But basically what happened is, let me see if I can find a better article on this. I don't want an opinion piece, I just want facts. Here's an MSN article. See, we like good quality mainstream articles from MSN. Oh wait, no, this is just a video. Why are they putting up a Fox video? Maybe thehill.com will be a real article. But basically, a former Google executive launches left-leaning tech coalition. So as former Google executive is launching a new tech coalition, it brings together some of the nation's top companies amid increased regulatory scrutiny in Washington. Adam Kovacevic, Google's former public policy head, who most recently held a similar position at electric scooter company Lime, said the industry group called Chamber of Progress includes tech giants like Amazon, Facebook, Google, Twitter, Uber, Grubhub, Lime, DoorDash, Instacart, Waymo, and Zillow. It's pretty clear that the tech industry's political honeymoon is over, and there are some big questions for policymakers about how do you make sure that all Americans benefit from high-tech advancements, and how do we make sure the tech industry operates fairly and responsibly? Kovacevic told The Hill another way of putting that is, will tech's future be as progressive as its past? That's the big question that our organization will be focused on. Kovacevic described the industry coalition as center-left. What it means is that we care about progressive goals and we're not reflexively anti-business, he said. Okay. So basically they're far left because they're progressive, but they're capitalist, which is crony cap. I mean, that other guy was right. It is crony capitalism. So by center left, they mean gay marriage. That's not center left to me. Transgender agenda. That stuff. Men playing in women's sports as they identify as women. So The group will advocate for public policies that fall under economic progress, social progress, and consumer progress. So obviously they're trying, because we have had obviously there's been, like it mentions here, the hotly debated issue of Section 230 of the Communications Decency Acts, which provides legal protections against them. And there's been the debate over that and text censorship, unfairly targeting conservatives and whatnot. Well, this is their answer. They're basically forming a coalition to lobby in their own interest as like a united front. So this is just going to be, more. It's not good. It's not good. Hey, Amid the Ruins, thank you for the $10 super chat. You can hop on for a few minutes if you want. No, but you don't have to. Rule 34. I don't know. I don't know what that is, so maybe I shouldn't even read it. YouTube evidently is not even showing that I am live right now. I don't know. We got some people watching, so yeah, I don't know. They don't like me anymore. I went after the COVID vaccine, and if I get a strike, then I'll be suspended for a week. So yeah, but the show's not going to stop. It'll be on Bitwave live. I'll be live streaming on Bitwave and Trovo until I can get, and I'll upload those episodes to Odysee. As soon as Odysee has live streaming capabilities, or Twitch or something, I will switch off of Trovo. For now, I'm just gonna leave it. I know they're censoring my friends and whatnot, but for now, I'm just gonna keep it until Odysee or some better alternative is available for live streaming. Crony capitalism is just what capitalism is. Not sure if I agree with that, honestly, because like the corporate nature of our capitalism, like it's not quite, I mean, there's always been free market, like free markets and personal property and some sort of merchants. Like I don't disagree with a merchant economy, but yeah, crony capitalism is a different thing. It's like with monopolies and these giant mega corporations, and it's definitely what we have. What we have is not what you read in Adam Smith. So, but I mean, I also don't agree that it's self-correcting either. Like the market corrects, like obviously it doesn't. So, yeah. What do you mean, Amid? Are you talking about Odysee? Because yeah, Odysee, I don't think we quite have. I know when it was before, when it was Libri or whatever it was, they had a live streaming feature, but then they switched over to Odysee, which is a cool platform, and it's synced to my YouTube, and all my videos are up, except for the one that was removed early this morning before I made the Odysee account. So markets don't define capitalism. Capitalism is a system defined by usury and investorism. It's a system where capital moves society. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. I agree with that. I just wanted to be clear. I don't disagree with like a merchant society and trade and that sort of thing. But yeah, selling the system that we have now is ludicrous, where we trade futures that are worth more than what we have, than all of our actual current assets. It's a sham. It's a sham. It's a racket. Pano says he identifies as the Pythagorean theorem. So maybe you'll have to come on sometime and explain that. Alexandra Union says, my sons got into internet porn fairly early, sadly. I don't know if they still use it. Well, pray for them, I guess. Hopefully they can help themselves out of it if they have that addiction. I gave my advice earlier. Honestly, the blockers are really good. Like, because most of us have, like, when the moments of weakness come, they're not long, like they're fleeting, right? And so if you can set up enough barriers to like just where basically as long as for the amount of time that the temptation would last is how long it would take for you to even to be able to view it. Like inconvenience yourself just enough. That's what you got to do. And I'm not saying it's easy, but you know, yeah, it's a difficult thing. Yeah, if anybody in the chat has an experience as well that they want to talk about, we could always do that. One more item for news. I don't see any other chats at the moment. No entropy chats today so far. Very not good. I've been having a good month, so but I need the continuous support. So Friday is going to be an exciting day, which I might not even tell you why on Friday, but an announcement next week, early next week, will be a big update as far as it goes with me and my next project. Let me go back on the screen share. Joe Biden, this country, our Christian nation, just keeps getting better and better. Joe Biden nominates first Muslim as federal judge. This is from thenationalnews.com. U.S. President Joe Biden officially nominated on Tuesday the nomination of Zahid Qureshi to the U.S. District Court of New Jersey. And this, if confirmed by the Senate, he will be the first Muslim American to serve as a federal district judge. Mr. Biden's first 11 judicial nominees also include 3 black women chosen for circuit court vaccinations, the first Asian American woman to serve on the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia, and the first woman of color to serve as a federal judge for the District of Maryland. This trailblazing slate of nominees draws from the very best and brightest minds of the American legal profession, Mr. Biden said. Each is deeply qualified and prepared to deliver justice faithfully under our Constitution and impartially to the American people. And together, they represent the broad diversity of background, experience, and perspective that makes our nation strong. So, yeah, Mr. Qureshi is going to be judging by the Constitution, not Sharia law. I'm sure. He's not going to be biased, I'm sure. So, he's of Pakistani ancestry and is the first Asian American to sit on the federal bench in New Jersey. I wonder how that makes, like, Chinese and Japanese people feel that the first Asian judge was Pakistani. Like, is that really Asian? I mean, I know it's like Southwest Asian, but when I think of Asians, I'm thinking of like the people that are getting attacked by no specific demographic out in the streets right now. Oh, okay. So you can't come on our stream because you're having issues. I gotcha. Well, I appreciate the $10, bro. It's I can use all the support I can get. So to keep doing this every day. So yeah, this guy graduated from Rutgers. Served in the military. Achieved the rank of captain in the U.S. Army. Deployed to Iraq. I mean, that's cool. He's a veteran. But, I mean, whatever. The military And other stories I thought about. I thought about covering what's happening in the military right now, but I think I'm gonna write about it instead for my website. Here's my green screen acting insane again. I'm just gonna switch to the Archangel. How's that? Archangel Michael behind me. Whoop, whoop. But yeah, I mean, right now they're doing those stand down briefs pretty much across the entire federal government. And it's basically the anti-extremism training. And I saw one article where they said, "Oh, it's okay to support BLM, but you can't do this electoral stuff. You can't support candidates and like right-wing candidates, and it's obviously biased." I'm going to write an article on for saintsedwardmedia.com, which I'm about to publish an article today. We haven't published much content lately, which reminds me, I am looking for more writers for it. We're going to start doing like a profit share with crypto. So we're going to start splitting when donations come in for articles, we're going to start splitting the proceeds evenly when it comes in. Donations come in from the website in a month. We're gonna start splitting those out amongst the writers. So yeah, if you're interested in writing for saintsedwardmedia.com, shoot me an email with a demonstration of some of your work. Or if you haven't worked, just write up an essay that you maybe want published. I'll check it out. Anything that falls under traditionalism, either news or opinion. So a news article, AP style, should be shorter, like less than 700 words. But if it's an opinion piece, it should be about 1,000 words or more. Traditional essay style. So saintsedwardmedia@protonmail.com or michael.sisco@saintsedwardmedia.com. Shoot me some of your work. I'll get you set up to write if I like it. And eventually we're going to implement this profit share with the crypto. So I think that's a good way to handle it. And then that way, when all you really got to worry about is capital gains tax when you cash out with your crypto. So, but anyways, I appreciate you guys watching today. That's all I really have. Any more comments? I see keep your stick on thelse. Says first time this is on Entropy. Says first time listener here and liking what I'm hearing. I'm going to check out some of your other vids in the coming days. So I appreciate it. Glad to have you. And Dex, another $25 on Entropy. Appreciate it, brother. He says keep fighting the good fight, brother. So appreciate the new viewers. It's funny how you get one video banned on YouTube and you get more viewers out of it. So yeah, if you missed yesterday's stream, it is available as a podcast on all of the major podcasting platforms. I hosted on Buzzsprout. I did post it on my Telegram. It's t.me/the_Michael_Sisco, or on Gab, I am at Michael Sisco. So I did post it on there. Not sure when I can get the video up because my computer is low on space and I need to go get my hard drive and do all that. So eventually I'll have it back up, and we'll put it on Odysee. So, but yes, definitely subscribe to Odysee. Subscribe to Odysee and Bitwave. Odysee and Bitwave. Both are in the description. Because if I do get a strike and I'm suspended for a week off of YouTube, you still want to watch the show and I still want to have people viewing live. So yeah, let's make sure that you subscribe to these backup platforms. And I suspect that at some point Odysee, especially after the live stream is up, that will be our new home on the blockchain. So I appreciate you guys watching. Have a blessed Lent and God bless.